We are the higher self of the One. Known to this instrument in the language terms as Neliza Ho, whose incarnation began on the time of 1975. And we greet you in light and the love of the One, infinite Creator. Furthermore, we shall now address the queries that are in order at this timeline through this instrument's inner vibration. Furthermore, the entity known as Neliza Ho is recommended to trust its own inner vibrations when listening to our messages at this time. Furthermore, the entity is recommended to trust its inner heart. The entity, furthermore, has placed many queries which relates primarily with the aspect of understanding about the vibration related with the experience of. Since the time of 1997, it has people following it, and they look mostly human, similar to white men. It sees them all the time, taking pictures and following it. It wants to understand what do they want from it. We must state that the entity known as Neliza, primarily when it was of a young age, in the time at the age of around 7 to 11 years, the entity had taken part in a secret space program wherein the entity was taken and put into a program without its knowledge to work with the extraterrestrial entities and to provide them with genetic codes for the creation of artificial extraterrestrial humanoid entities. Furthermore, this occurred primarily because of the entity's higher vibration as a starseed. Furthermore, the entity known as Neliza Ho was then able to be free itself after it reached the age of 11-year-old, when the entity's vibration shifted to a more normalized human-like entity experience. Furthermore, they have been monitoring the progress of the entity, and these people are primarily those entities who are the aspect of the experience of the vibration of allowing the entity to find its vibration shifting and to find the purpose of how the entity is progressing in the life cycle. Furthermore, we must state that the best way to protect itself from these type of people is via the process of shielding itself with the love light vibration. This can be done by imagining itself being covered with the vibration of love, and by imagining itself being covered with the vibrations of love will allow the entity to be immune to any such type of distortions which are created within the space and time vibration of the entity. Furthermore, the entity known as Neliza Ho must realize that this was the aspect of what was being covered here. Furthermore, the other portion of the query relates with the vibration of understanding about the aspect related with what is its purpose on Earth. We must state that the purpose of the entity on the Earth planet is to learn specifically the lessons of understanding about the vibrations of love and to spread the vibration of love in the timeline as a starseed, which will allow it to enter into the new Earth, fourth density vibration. Furthermore, this is the purpose of the entity in this timeline, which is the primary objective of the entity within the vibration of the experience, and we must state that the entity known as Neliza Ho must also realize that the other portion of the query relates primarily as the aspect regarding the understanding of its gifts that have opened up. We must state that the entity has many gifts opened up for itself, such as the gift of helping others through its vibration. If the entity is able to have a positive vibration, it will find itself understanding about the aspect of internal reality, which will provide the entity with a greater sense of experience and a heightened level of consciousness, further providing a greater sense of understanding about the nature of the self. Furthermore, the entity must also realize that the other portion of the query relates primarily with its past lifetimes. We shall now address the aspect of its previous timelines, moving backwards in time from the current space and time vibration. Prior to this, the entity was found in many of the timelines wherein it learned many of the lessons about the self. It was found in the lands of America, wherein it was known as Edward as a man bodily complex in the time of 1827. It learned the lessons as a army official trying to work and gather a sense of understanding within the vibration of the timeline. Furthermore, the entity was able to learn the lessons in the lands of America as a army official, having a heightened level of vibration and mastery within the timeline. Eventually, this entity was able to focus on understanding about the aspect of using the nature of reality to work in the progressive work field of the mastery of the self. Eventually, the entity in that time was able to spend its timeline as an entity who was able to find a greater sense of balance in the incarnation by learning how to balance in the timeline, as the entity focused on learning the lessons as a farmer in the timeline in the beginning stages. Later on, it became interested in the field of music, eventually mastering the aspect of music in the timeline, which furthermore provided the entity with a heightened level of consciousness. Furthermore, the entity was then able to, after having learned the many lessons, cross over in the time of 1880. Furthermore, prior to this, the entity was found in the location as known by your people as the lands of Egypt. In the time of 1680, it was known as Kakete, wherein the entity spent its timeline in a family wherein the entity was provided with ample opportunity and experience of abundance. Furthermore, this incarnation was capable of teaching the entity with a higher state of vibrational experience within the self. Furthermore, it was able to find a greater alignment and mastery within the timeline, which eventually allowed it to have a heightened level of internal balance and the ability of overcoming the vibration of pride was the main lesson which the entity had to learn in the timeline. Eventually, it learned the lesson of overcoming pride in that incarnation by recognizing that pride was a blockage which the entity faced in the time. Eventually, it crossed over in the space and time of around 1760. And prior to this, it was found in the lands of the planet of its origin, wherein the entity was found in the timeline of around 703 million years ago. Furthermore, the entity was able to then, after learning the many lessons of vibration, of understanding, able to cross over in the aspect of experience within the timeline. Furthermore, the entity was then able to learn the lessons as a wind element in that time in the first density and was known by the sole name of Alid, which meant the light of consciousness, and the experience of the entity prior to that was found with the one infinite creator's essence. Furthermore, we as the higher self of the entity shall now leave you, beloveds, in lights and love of the one creator. Bye.